Okay, hello, my name is Caleb Smitley, and today I'm going to be presenting about the North American porcupine, also known as the Eozyzen torsatum. Okay, let's get some simple things out of the way. Classification: the kingdom is Animalia, the phylum is Chordata, the class is Mammalia, the order is Rodentia, the family is Eozyzen tidea, the genus is Eozyzen, then the species is torsatum. Okay. Also, the domain is the Arrocates. Okay. Habitat and range. The North American porcupine can be found throughout Canada, most of Canada, most of the U.S., and northern places of Mexico. Okay. They can be found in Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, New York, New England, the Four Corners, which consists of Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona. They can also be found in Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, and yeah, as you see here, this is where all they live. Okay. Their habitat is mostly deciduous and coniferous forests. Deciduous means a tree that leaves fall down in a certain part of the year. Like maples, some maples, their leaves fall down during the winter. Okay? Coniferous means a cone-bearing tree, which is like a pine tree or an evergreen. Okay? So, yep, as you see, Quebec, Ontario, and Canada. Diet. The North American porcupine is an herbivore, which means that it only eats plants. It doesn't eat any other living thing, like meat. Okay? Their diet in the wild consists of leaves, roots, tubers. A tuber is like a potato or a radish, anything that grows underground. They also eat wood, bark, stem, seeds, nuts, grains, flowers, and fruit. Okay? So considering most of their habitat, it's not a surprise they have the diet that they have. But in the zoo, it's something a little bit different. It's basically the same thing, but maybe a couple things different. They also feed biscuits, peanuts, produce, and browse. Browse is like branches and trees. And then we have peanuts. So at John Bell Zoo, they have this clear stick with a green ball at the end. And they lead Poppy and Barbara around with the stick. And so one time, I was at the zoo studying my animal, and one of the zookeepers brought Poppy over there. See that stuff? He went up there, and the zookeeper gave him a peanut for training. Because like, what if you want ice cream after you got a shot or something? And so, yeah. Yes, and they also feed some nutrients, and yeah. So over here, you can also see the produce, which is like lettuce, carrots, and stuff like that. As you see, there's some lettuce over there. Okay? So as you see, I have some pictures. Okay. So, size and speed. The North American porcupine is one of the largest rodents found in North America. Right behind the North American beaver. Okay? So, only coming in a second. It can weigh up to 20 pounds or 9 kilograms, okay? And it also can grow up to 2 to 3 feet, not including the tail, which is about 24 to 36 feet, or 60 to 90 centimeters. For comparison, the average soccer ball is about 8.5 inches. So imagine this, but about 2 or 3 times, 3 to 4 times the size, if you do your math correctly, okay? But sadly, they cannot move as fast as a soccer ball kicked at a high speed at a goalie, because they can only reach speeds up to 6 miles per hour. Sadly, not enough to run away from the more feline predators. Speaking of predators, the North American porcupine does actually have predators. Its defensive system does make it very protected, but I'll get into their status later. Okay? They consist of the lynx, which is right over there. Don't ask me why they put them together. Bobcat, coyote, wolf, wolverine, great horned owl, mountain lion, and fisher. A fisher is kind of like a weasel, or part of the weasel family, weasel and ferret, you know? And so, since all the defense of the porcupine is on its back, most predators attack the head. But the fisher does something a little bit different. So it attacks the front, it attacks the head, but it may find a point where it can flip the porcupine over and attack the unprotected stump. So yeah, pretty smart animal. Status and lifespan. The North American porcupine's status is of the least concern. It is not a surprise since of its defensive system. Their population number is unknown, probably to how great their number is in the wild. Their lifespan in the wild can be up to over 18 years. And in the zoo, it is the same exact thing, up to 18 years. Okay? Behavior. The North American porcupine is a solitary animal, which means it likes to stay alone, like a teenage boy. And so, even though it may den with other porcupines, even though it does not hibernate, it may stay in its den for harsh winters. Speaking of dens, it makes its den in decaying logs, hollow trees, and dirt, or underground. You know, so the porcupine's quills are hollow, which helps it stay afloat in the water, so it is a great swimmer. Another attribute it has for its natural environment is it is a great tree climber. So it spends most of its time in trees. Most of it is coniferous trees, which, as I said before, is an evergreen or a pine tree. Okay? So the porcupine is also a very vocal animal, which means it may make a variety of noises, which it includes wails, whines, moans, grunts, and teeth clicking. Most of this is for communication, but there's one more reason that I will get into in a little bit. Okay, so interesting facts. Did you know that baby porcupines are called porcupets? Also, a female may only have one baby at a time. Also, I do not have this on my board, but baby porcupines, when they come out of the womb, their quills, they're not sharp, they are flimsy. So, yeah, so kind of like rubber when they come out, okay? Mm-hmm. Also, when a porcupine charges an animal or a predator, it stomps its feet and makes grunting noises. So, as a warning for the predator, okay? Porcupine also gnaws on bones to get salt and calcium, which helps it in the long. And so, speaking of gnawing on things, the North American porcupine is a rodent, which means its teeth grow a lot. So it has to gnaw on things to keep them at a good, moderate length. So it doesn't overgrow and it can't eat anymore, and then it will starve to death. Sad, I know. So as my niche, they also have, they use their tail as a spiky club against predators. Okay, this is also not on my thing, but the North American porcupine, despite contrary belief, cannot shoot its quills. People may get that confused, but it cannot shoot its quills. So it's just, people may run into him, and a dog, having the instinct to attack, may just run into it. That's why you see on, like, Dr. Phil, a dog just covered in quills, like, looking like Santa. Okay? Speaking of quills, the quill is barbed. That's why it may get stuck in the animal or predator. And I actually have some quills here. So the barbed part is, so see the picture? The picture that is barbed is the blackish tip. So I don't want to hurt anyone, so I'm just going to tell you how it feels. So if you rub your finger against the darker part of the tip, it feels a little rough. Like, not as rough as sandpaper, but a little less rough. So yes, they are barbed, and that is why it's really hard to get them out of someone or something. Okay? Oh yeah. Yeah. Yep. Thank you. I also, here's the picture of the barb. Well. So, does anyone have any questions?
That's a lot of information.
Thank you. Thank you for coming to my presentation about the North American porcupine. I hope you find great presentations like this. And after you're done seeing the Cape porcupine presentation, I want you to come back to me and tell me which one you think was better.